This is Lynn from the Sweep Spot, and you're listening to the Leaving Today podcast.
All personnel, clear the launch platform.
All personnel, clear launch platform.
The Leaving Today podcast, the show about the news, history, and attractions of the Disneyland Resort.
Well, come on, Wendy. Let's go.
But where are we going?
To Neverland.
Neverland.
Hello, and hello. Welcome to the Leaving Today podcast, episode number 193. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, this afternoon, this evening, however, and whenever it is you are doing it. We very much appreciate it. My name is Mark, one of the co-hosts here of the LTP. Sitting to the left of me is the Charmaster Puppets himself, Udi.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Actually, good afternoon.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Would you like some tea?
And biscuits.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Sitting to the right of me via FaceTime is our friend Becky.
Hi.
Hey, Becky. Thank you so much for joining us again today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. We want to welcome all of our new listeners out there, all of those of you who found us on YouTube. We've got a lot of those. Thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate it. We hope you find the water to be very warm. We are a very open and honest Disneyland podcast. We love the parks. We want them to succeed, but sometimes we got to have those crazy conversations about things. It's not always about popcorn and churros. Sometimes it's about board seats and proxy votes and things like that. Yeah, but it's
which we can't get into. Yeah,
we can't get into that. But hopefully, whatever it is, whatever your reason is for listening to us, we do appreciate it because we want to bring some happiness and some silliness to your daily grind, I suppose is how it goes. Today's show is sponsored by you, the listeners. If you want to do that, you can go to our website at leavingtodaypodcast.com, click on the Patreon link. We make it super simple. You can join one of our different programs there, and for that you get a t-shirt, you get some stickers, and you get to be on the show. Talking to you, Jennifer, and Laura. Both of you are suspiciously missing from our live shows. We've been threatening to have you guys on for a while, but anytime you guys want to come on, we would love that. Today, we're going to have some special guests on. It's going to be Lynn and Ken from the Sweep Spot podcast. They've been doing it for a long time. They've been on the show a few years ago, but I just kind of wanted to touch bases with them. So you can look forward to a conversation with those folks. And we do consider them part of I'm a fan of the show.
Yep.
And we're all part of the same Disney thing. So.
Yep. And if you guys have not listened to them or checked them out, go on over.
Yes, absolutely. That's the sweepspot.com.
Yes. And
they've got a couple books out there, and we should be getting one. We'll be getting one. They're going to be giving away to a lucky listener.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. We got to figure out a contest to see if we can give that out. All right, so we got the news, and then we have that. Now tonight, it's the opening question. Came up with this last night. I didn't come up with it. Actually, Wendy did. And
thanks, Wendy.
Yeah.
She does listen to the show, right?
When I ask her to.
Okay, well then don't tell her because I'm about to. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Thanks, Wendy.
Yeah, and she said, "Do you think Disneyland would be a good place for a first date?" And I go, "Well, that's a very interesting question." And I said, I will bring it to the LTP tomorrow and see what they say. Would it be a good first date? Like, hey, I don't know you, but we should go to Disneyland. Yeah.
I feel like the romantic in me says yes. And also, if we're going by, typical, maybe old-fashioned dating standards, and that means the man is paying, why would I pass that up?
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, no, and I kind of agree with that. Now, my caveat is always going to be this one. It depends on the vibe you get from the person. I think if the vibe is correct, then yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
first dates can always be interesting, no matter what you do.
Sure.
But I would be hoping that if you're going to invest that kind of effort, time, and money into that individual on a first date, you would hope that the vibe was something there, not just some random person like, oh, you're good looking. Let me take you out.
Yeah.
That's when you go to a bar or you go have a picnic or you do any number of things. There's many things up here. Well, Northern California, there are a lot of different things you can go off and go do. So, yeah, that aren't going to be Disneyland.
And if it works out, that's a really romantic story to say your first date was at Disneyland.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
And you would get a good idea for a person.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say there's so much you could learn about them. You know, what's their favorite snack? There's so many things to talk about as far as attractions. You could figure out what their favorite movie is, and that could tell you a lot about them.
Oh yeah, I mean, my thought was kind of on the same lines as yours, Becky. It was like you could learn a lot about a person by going to Disneyland. And like, do they get impatient if there's a big line?
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, why are we doing this? You know, because or you know, how do they handle organizing things? How do they are they happy going with the flow?
Yep.
Or do they need a plan? Hey, what are we doing now? I have no idea. I thought we'd walk over here and see what's no, or no, I need to know what we're doing, or like no, let's just go and like figure it out, or hey, do you want to go grab a churro? Oh, I don't like gluten. What? What's going on here?
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But I mean, you get the gist of it. Hey, you want to grab some ice cream? Lactose intolerant. Oh, okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So
Mark, you would be like, this is never going to work.
Mark is like, well, okay, so there's the exit. I'm going that way. You can follow me or not. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be like that. But yes, to Becky's point, you would get to know how they are, and if it all worked out, it'd be a really good story, like went to Disneyland.
Well, and this is where I go. It depends on the vibe, because what if it was one of those things that you just in passing, and you begin to talk to them, and then you realize they like the park. You're like, oh, so do I.
Yeah.
Let's go. So yeah.
Or hey, I've never been.
Yeah, another good one.
True, yeah.
Yeah, and
I think that would be more fun.
a first date. I've never been. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been. Well, okay.
Well, okay.
Let us go. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in my case, we'd be like 5 hours on Main Street. Go on, okay. This is what this was, and this is what it is.
And then if she goes running out the front gate, you already know what happened.
Yeah.
Hair's on fire, going no.
No.
Yeah.
No, I think it could be a really good thing. Honestly. Yeah. Anyways, I thought that was a good opening question.
Not a bad question for Wendy.
No.
Yeah, I really
For
like
Wendy.
that.
No, from Wendy, not for Wendy.
Oh, yeah,
from Wendy.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's messed up. They say for Wendy. Dang. What kind of jerky? Hey,
I know. I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. Well, you and I are both wearing the LTP shirts today.
Yep.
I broke mine out. I haven't worn it in a while.
Yeah, I'm rocking the green one, the army green with our Betsy Ross.
Yes.
Wow, yeah.
It is St. Patrick's
It is
Day
today.
after all.
You know,
It
the day-
is.
We are recording on St. Patty's Day.
Yes.
No beer in here, nothing but water.
Do you know corned beef and cabbage in there?
Ooh, even though that actually doesn't sound bad right now.
Do you like corned beef and cabbage, Becky?
Yeah, I like it.
I'll eat it.
Okay.
It wouldn't be my first choice of, meal, but I would eat it.
Sure. Okay. There are some new listeners that are thinking, why are people talking about corned beef and cabbage?
Because it's St. Patty's Day. That's
Yeah.
the only reason why. I don't really bring it up.
Okay, well, I guess we should get to the news. Well, let's just go over to the news.
Okay.
You listen to me now. You are talking about things that you do not understand.
Okay. So, a lot of news items this episode, and I thought that was pretty good. So there'll be a lot to talk about. The first news item is the first new turnstiles with Magic Band Plus touchpoints installed at Disneyland Resort themed parks. New turnstiles with updated features have been installed at the entrance of DCA following up permits filed late last year. The new turnstiles can be found on the far right side of the entrance if you're facing the gates to DCA. At the time of the publication, they are not in use. Multiple barriers surround the new turnstiles on both sides. Permits were filed with the City of Anaheim on December 8th, 2023 for updated park gates at Disneyland Park and DCA. Those plans also included these new turnstiles. And if you look at the picture, and I'm encouraging all listeners to go ahead and do that, you can look them out online. They're open. They're fairly wide, which I think is going to allow for wheelchairs and scooters, and also strollers. Because now I think you have to go through a separate. They open up a gate, right? When you go through, if you ever happen to have a stroller, you go.
You
middle.
go through the middle.
Yeah.
Right, Becky? I mean, you're gonna know.
Yeah, that's true.
They look very similar to the updated turnstiles recently installed at Disneyland Paris, where guests can simply scan their ticket once at the turnstiles to enter. If there's a park reservation linked to the guest's ticket, the gates open automatically. And they do have the Magic Band touch point things installed. So I did experience this in Florida, and I thought it was pretty seamless. It did not take the place of a cast member, though. And that was a question that I thought maybe someone might have had earlier, was like, oh, well, this is going to replace the cast members. No, there is always certainly... There's like three things you can guarantee in life: death, taxes, and confusion getting into Disneyland.
Yep.
Like, what is going on?
Especially now. Yeah.
Yeah, this is not. You got to take a picture. They got to verify it's you. And so, this is going to streamline the process for sure. And I'm glad that now that these are accessible for people that may need a wheelchair or a scooter or stroller. I guess my hesitancy is that I wish we were not getting Magic Band Plus, but I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks that way. Becky, what do you think about that?
No, I'm with you on that. I have used Magic Band Plus. I was trying to think back. The first time I used it was 10 years ago, whenever I had gone to Walt Disney World for the first time.
Okay.
And, when I went, there it's just different in general. And I've stayed at their resort, so it's great to enter your room, going to have breakfast. You can just scan everything.
Yeah.
But it almost feels like old technology to me now, because 10 years ago, I'm sure I had an iPhone, but I wasn't using it the same way I am now, and I definitely didn't have an Apple Watch or anything like that. So yeah, the Magic Band Plus in general just feels a little bit outdated to me. In that, but I could be totally wrong.
No,
I think you're right, because I think we've made the comment before that we have a lot of people now have a smartwatch. I know my Apple Watch is connected to everything I've got. So whatever I have, whether it be QR code or whatever, I can literally just go scan it with my phone. I don't need to put on another band. As far as that's concerned.
Right.
Yeah, and actually, even saying that, even not having the watch, just having a smartphone, there's so many things that you just go into just in everyday life or making purchases where you just scan your phone and kind of go through.
Yeah. Yeah, and my concern always with this, if they go to this all the way, it's putting an extra gate up, because what if people don't want to use it? There are still people who do not use this technology, and they won't.
Sure.
And this is where I get frustrated a little bit, because of how I feel Disney continues to try to make you enjoy the park like they want you to. And this just adds to it. Okay, fine, if they want to do that, but if they go to all of these, is like, okay, so you're going to have a cast member there probably helping those people who don't know the process. And then how long is that going to be? Is that ever going to go away?
No,
it never will. I will use the most simplest of thing, like a kiosk at McDonald's.
Yeah. You
go into the kiosk at McDonald's, and every time there's somebody there, I can help you if you need. I'm like, why don't I just walk over and take the order then? You know what I mean? So this is the same kind of thing,
Yeah.
And so you're always going to need to have somebody there. And so this is where I kind of go like, okay, fine. just make it where if a person doesn't want to use a magic band, doesn't want to use any technology, they don't have to. You don't force them into this. So have your other one, and then if somebody knows how to use this, they go like, okay, I'm going to go there because it's easier. And the one thing that Disney's gotten really bad at doing lately has been letting the word of mouth sell it for you. Okay? Because if this is as great and seamless and all that, then let the people who use it be like, dude, this is awesome. And then it will sell itself. So this is the problem with this. So while inherently I don't care, really, to be 100% honest, I don't care that they put them in. I'm like, cool. But my concern always is like, you can't switch all of them to that because of all those reasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They do look kind of cool, though. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
They do look really nice.
Yep.
And thinking about it, the perspective of walking in, it wasn't that bad walking in with the stroller for me, but just to be able to walk straight through is really nice. Or I do have a friend, I haven't gone with her, but my best friend, her sister's in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
And so to think how nice that would be for them to be able to all kind of stay together and just go through that way.
Yeah.
I think she would enjoy that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so definite benefits for it, yeah.
I mean, do you think it's going to improve the guest experience?
I think for some people it will.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do I think it's going to be like a massive sea change of like, now we're happy? No, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all.
And not necessarily get people in quicker.
Yep.
Really, do you think? I mean...
No, probably not, because there's always going to be confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone has their, phone and I have it on, I have my 4 tickets linked. Well, this one isn't linked or something like that.
Yeah.
True. Or you're with a group and somebody else that's actually that you've paid for is 4 people behind you and you're trying to get them up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yep, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I see it again for the people who have it and want to use it. Absolutely, it'll make it more quickly. It'll make it quicker for them to get in, but overall, no. Like for the overall guest, no, I don't see it being that big of a thing. Yeah.
Well, they need to have like a magic key entrance.
I've said it before.
Yeah.
I've said it before. It would be great if they did.
Yeah.
It'd be another selling point for a magic key. Like, and if you have a magic key, there's your entrance over there.
That's right. And by the way, Becky, I got a magic key last week.
You did?
I did.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm returning to the fray, as it were.
Yeah.
Udi, I will
Awesome.
get. I'm stoked. I will get Udi to go next year.
See there, and then the pressure is on.
There is zero pressure, but once he commits to going, he's gonna enjoy it again.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, and like I
Definitely.
said, I've said before, I actually miss those days where he would text me and go, "Dude, you can go on March 10th to 11th. Let me check. Yes, I can go.
Then we're going. Yeah.
Yeah, I do miss those days, and there are plenty of times where he would go down with and just be by himself. I was envious but happy at the same time.
Yep.
So and by the way, I'm gonna go April 15th or 14th.
Oh, breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news. And I'm gonna stay at that lodge that Dan mentioned.
Yeah, what is it? Eden?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the Eden Rock.
Eden Rock.
Yes,
Rock.
yeah, just to check it out. And I shall report back.
Yeah. Okay, Dan. Now he's gonna put you to the test, Dan.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure now.
Oh yeah. We shall see. Okay. Anyways, next news item we have. Becky, what do you think about Star Wars? Are you a fan of Star Wars?
So, long
Careful.
story short, I'd say no.
Okay.
I'm not. However,
Hang
I
up.
do have
Hang
some
up.
appreciation. My
Hang up.
husband, my husband
Hang up.
enjoys it, and so I do like that. And like the first time we had ever gone together, we had just been dating, and Galaxy's Edge had just opened, and seeing him go and just be like a little kid creating his lightsaber and doing all these experiences, that kind of gave me some appreciation for it. And then just I want it to do well because George Lucas is from Modesto, so representing that.
Represent.
I don't hate it.
Okay, gotcha.
Hit that red button.
It just feels a little above my head.
You see that little red button.
Udi wants to hang up now.
I'm sorry.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, this next news item is for you, Becky, because Star Tours adds new characters and locations. And I know you've been clamoring for these.
I know I have been. I've been going bananas over here.
Starting April 5th of 2024, Star Tours, The Adventures Continue will add characters and locations from 3 of Disney Plus's series, Ahsoka, Andor, and The Mandalorian. These additions include appearances by Ahsoka Tano, Cassian Andor. Cassian Andor and the Mandalorian and Grogu, and visits to the planet what is that term? What is that planet? Peridia?
Yeah, Peridia.
As seen in Ahsoka. The new variables mean there are now more than 250 possible storylines when you ride Star Tours, but we expect them to be featured heavily in the rotation for the first few months after they're added. A new Ahsoka adventure inspired coming to Star Tours Adventures Parks. There's a video for that too. The debut of these new adventures coincides with the start of the Season of the Force promotion at Disneyland. That event runs through June 2nd and includes the return of Hyperspace Mountain. We see the Star Tours attractions in Walt Disney World, Disneyland Paris will also receive the Disney Plus updates at the same time. So for me, I love Star Wars. I don't like Star Tours because I get motion sickness, and I very rarely go on that. But Udi, what do you think about that?
Well, here is the good and the bad. Okay, we will begin with the good. Mando and Grogu, arguably season 1 and season 2, some of the best Star Wars we've gotten since Disney bought it. Season 3, it was good, but not. It could have gone much better.
Yeah.
Ahsoka, while my personal feelings, I said on the show about that character many, many times, I love Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I'm going to be like, sweet. If I see Mando, I see Grogu, I see Ahsoka, all good for me. I will be happy.
Mm-hmm.
There are too many people out there who have no clue who they are. Zero. They'll know Mando before Ahsoka, and Grogu before Ahsoka. They'll be like, "Oh, Baby Yoda," and then I'm gonna be like throwing things that's called. His name is Grogu.
Becky, do you know who these characters are?
Yeah, I know. So I did watch the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, and then I did watch Andor.
Oh,
okay. See,
I liked Andor.
Okay, so
I liked it. That was like the first Star Wars thing that I really, really liked. And then I did like The Mandalorian as well. It's just been a long time. I didn't watch the 3rd one.
3rd season? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, the 3rd season. Yeah. But I loved that, and I really liked Gina
Carano
on it. Yeah, I liked her character.
Mm-hmm. Don't even get me
so
going on
that
Gina.
That kind of put a bad taste in my mouth of wanting to continue. So
you are both in the common and rare air right there. One, you're common because a lot of people did get upset with Gina Carano. I'm sure you've heard my multiple rants on that, as many people have. But the other part that you're rare now is actually watching Andor. A lot of people did not watch Andor. I did, and as a show, it was great. I really enjoyed that show. I mean, that was good storytelling. Star Wars. I can make the argument that no, but it was good still. That being said, a lot of people didn't watch it. Okay,
I love
so and then there, because the bread and butter is still going to be for the masses, the OT. I don't care. Disney keeps on trying to do this, and I get why they do it. They keep on. We need to get the next generation. The next generation coming down the line, still go back to the OT. So. So Ahsoka, cool. Mando, for me, all 3 of these are great. I would enjoy all of them. In descending order would be Mando being top, then Ahsoka, and then Andor. So, but I would bet you, next time you go, and if you happen to wind up on Andor, I'll be like, oh, cool, Andor. You look around you, the rest of the people in that cab are going to be like, is that Star? Who's that? And I'm going to be like, it's Andor. Now, like, do you want me to this guy Cassian Andor? He's a spy. Do you want me to go? No.
I know the characters, but I wouldn't know them if they're flying around Andor.
You see, no, but
I mean, that's
no, it's not it. It's Cassian Andor is the character name. But no, that's what I mean.
Oh yeah, I said that.
You wouldn't know that
character,
particular place versus
I wouldn't know.
Places.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So that is the problem with this is like Ahsoka is if they wanted to, the one they should have kept is just stayed with is Mando and Grogu. Ahsoka is cool, and that's niche, and so all the niche people are going to be like, that's way cool, but there's not enough of us out there. And then even more niche is going to be Cassian Andor. And so there's just not enough. So I see them being in high rotation, but I'm going to bet you that Cassian Andor drops down to the bottom because I will tell you what, even the Return of the not Return of the Jedi, the Revenge. What's that stupid? The Last Jedi.
You mean Episode 8?
That abomination. Yes, that thing pops up, and I'm like, ugh, like I want to puke.
Did it?
Oh, huh? It has. I've been on there before. It pops up, and I want to puke. I'm like, this is so bad. This is so bad. But that's what I'm saying. So I like the idea, but then the flip to the other side of the coin is Star Tours is old, man. Like I love it, but it's
why
old.
Why are they putting money into doing this?
Yeah, that's the bigger question I want to know.
That is the bigger question. I don't know why.
Like Hyperspace Mountain, I could totally see them doing something like that when it's for what is it called again? The
Seasons of the Force. Yeah,
I can see, and I mean that's an easy change, and people love that. But I just can't see putting money into doing new places for Star Tours.
Yeah, and that is where I fall into is like I like it. I mean, IP wise, character wise, my fandom wise, I'm like cool, but. Does it make sense in the grand scheme? No, not really. It's not going to drive anybody to there. Maybe Mando and Grogu would, but anybody like Cassian and Ahsoka, sadly, no. I mean, it hurts me to say that a ton of people aren't going to be driven to that ride to catch Ahsoka. They're just not.
No, they're not.
They're not. Unless you watch Clone Wars, unless you watch Rebels, you're going to be like. And then, or maybe you didn't catch the show, the TV show.
Yeah.
You're going to have no clue. And even if you caught the TV show, if you don't have Rebels and Clone Wars in your back pocket, you would have been lost half the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
sad but true.
Yeah.
There was something in this, though, that I don't think you said, but just that it says, also announced that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge will provide a fresh perspective on the fireworks above Disneyland Park on select nights with galactic music sweeping through the spires.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did not say that.
Yeah.
I thought that sounded really cool. I don't know if I would necessarily add an extra day on a trip, but it would tempt me to want to be there at night to see the fireworks from there.
Well,
and hear that.
Yeah, well, we have watched it from there, and it is amazing.
Yeah.
And the one comment that we made at the time was there was no music, so it was kind of like all.
Okay. I was wondering. So they didn't even do the usual show.
No, not in there.
Staying in theming.
Correct. So if they're going to add music, it can be good, but it has to be themed properly. So that's my question. It has to match the land because remember. The whole concept with it is the land, the time locking, the immersiveness. Yeah. So if the music, if they're literally designing a different soundtrack,
music bed or something.
Yeah, for Galaxy's Edge to match it, then that's cool.
That would be definitely unique.
Yeah. The thing they cannot do is just pipe in the existing music into Galaxy's Edge because then I'm like, no, whole thing blown.
Oh, you mean like the regular Disneyland?
Yes.
No.
Yes. You don't want to hear like a princess song.
No, I'm like
Elsa singing Frozen.
And then because then I bet you then I would be the jerk who run over to the cast members like, hey, who's singing that song? I've never heard this song before. You know, whatever the cast member's gonna have, you're gonna put a cast member in a really awkward spot.
Yeah, I wonder if it's gonna be like an original score.
I don't know.
Or are they gonna bring back some? Gosh. Imagine like a Leia's theme or something.
Dude, Leia's theme going through fireworks. I'll go cry in the corner.
Yeah, you
I'll
go
be
cry in the
so-
corner.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah,
crying.
that
I feel like there is, if that's the area they're taking it, that could be amazing.
Sure.
Yeah, and for everybody who doesn't know, we're talking about literally that kind of overlook. Right, you can look at the
Millennium Falcon.
at the Millennium Falcon, and those spires are right there. To watch the fireworks from that kind of upper patio and down along the base where Galaxy or where the Millennium Falcon is, it's amazing to watch the fireworks there.
Yeah.
It really, really is. Yeah, and I know a lot of people do that now.
And it is a completely different vibe than seeing it on Main Street.
100%. If I'm going to watch fireworks, I'd rather watch it there.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well,
Because I don't get because you know me with fireworks, I'm not a fireworks and parade guy.
No.
Like it's cool. I'll go look at it one time and be like, okay, checked off the list. I've been there, done that, moving on. If I'm gonna watch a fireworks presentation, I would rather have it there because one, you're closer to the whole thing. You feel that a lot better, and then if they do add the music and it's appropriate, why that would be a lot more fun.
Yep.
Yeah, for me it would.
Where do you sit on fireworks and parades, Becky?
So, where do I stand on
No.
them?
I mean, do you like them? Do you not like them? Do you?
Yeah, I love them. I love stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm the type of person that's crying watching fireworks. I enjoy that. Like Phantasmic, my favorite.
Oh yeah,
thing.
Phantasmic's great.
But I do like the idea of seeing it from different perspectives and then having the different music. I would absolutely love that. Because even with fireworks, seeing it in front of Small World feels different than when you're seeing it in front of the castle or seeing it at a different place on Main Street.
Right.
And I think then you add that element of having music themed to Star Wars or their own score.
Right.
And that just... I think that'd be amazing. I would love that.
Yes, that's gonna be great. Well, I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yep.
Maybe you'll be able to tell us.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah. Okay. Next news item: President of Walt Disney Imagineering, Barbara Booza, announces departure. The current president of Walt Disney Imagineering, Barbara Booza, has announced her departure from the company. Hope I'm saying her last name correctly. Booza, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Booza.
Boza.
Booza. It's B-O-U-Z-A. Booza, who joined the Walt Disney Company in 2020, took to Instagram to say her goodbyes before she leaves next month. She has been the president of WDI since November of 2021, taking over for Bob Weiss. She noted that WDI will still be under the leadership of Chief Creative Officer Bruce Vaughn, and she had this to say. Proudly building upon our extraordinary legacy, Imagineers are shaping a future that inspires humanity. As one global team of innovative creators and storytellers, we immerse our guests in experiences that make memories of a lifetime. As a licensed architect, I was recruited by the Walt Disney Company to challenge the norm and bring broader global industry perspective expertise. Joining Walt Disney Imagineering in June 2020, I truly believed humanity needed Disney more than ever. The world was trying to understand the impact of a global pandemic, business disruption, stay-at-home orders, a reckoning on race, and the growing political divide. From there, Imagineers endured the pressure of talent reductions, unprecedented hyper-escalation on projects, political crosshairs, and the need to make life-changing decisions with their families around the relocation from California to Florida. Through all this, Imagineers relentlessly created and delivered some of the most impactful projects in the history of the Walt Disney Company. The success has fueled the triple-charged growth of Disney experiences through $60 billion in investment over the next 10 years that Bob Iger and Josh D'Amario speak of. So I want to take this moment to personally thank all the managers, past, present, and future, for making the impossible possible. It is bittersweet as I wrap up my work as president of Walt Disney Imagineering this month before I create even bigger impact for the world. Stay tuned. WDI will be in excellent hands with my partner Bruce Vaughn, Chief Creative Officer, who is an exceptional creative leader. That is what she had to say on her exiting. Now, a little bit about Bruce Vaughn, who's taking over. I wrote up a little bit about that. In the years after Bob Iger became CEO of the Walt Disney Company following Michael Eisner, the first time, it was clear that many of the Disney theme parks around the world needed to be revamped. And embarking on such changes, the world require a significant investment. During those years, Bruce Vaughan led WDI as chief creative executive and oversaw many positively received offerings that helped to correct creative mistakes, such as Cars Land and Buena Vista Street on Disney California Adventure, as well as Mystic Manor and Grizzly Gulch at Hong Kong Disneyland. Other projects from that era include the Disney Dream and the Disney Fantasy cruise ships for Disney Cruise Line, New Fantasyland at the Magic Kingdom, and eventually Pandora, the world of Avatar, at Disney's Animal Kingdom. It can easily be argued that the years when Vaughn was an executive were the high point of the organization's incredible history, or that it was, at the very least, one of the greatest eras of Imagineering. So, we are getting a new head of Imagineering, Bruce Vaughan. And that is the long and short of that. So I think we're in good hands with him. We don't know yet. And thinking about Barbara Boza, am I saying her name? I don't. It sounds like I'm saying Bauza. Bauza. She probably came on at a hard time within the company. I'm not sure I would have taken on that role, because she was right. I mean, there was a lot of political crosshairs going on at Disney and the world at large, and we were completely divided.
Yeah, I don't know that I would envy somebody in her position during that time.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I have a different take.
Why was she hired in the first place?
A level of that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I remember thinking that too.
There is a level of that. Why was she hired? And I'm curious, because looking at Bruce Vaughan, I'm like, why didn't you just hire him?
True, if he was there, working on
exactly.
all these other big projects.
And here's the other part of it. I'm reading I read, this is the third time me reading her Instagram post.
Oh.
Here are my problems. One, why are you posting on Instagram? Two, pump your brakes, because I'm sorry, I do not agree with you. I don't think you made a huge impact.
Okay.
And as she's trying to make it sound, call me, disagree with me all you if you want, that's fine. But I'm listening. I read them like, what did you do? What did you do? So to me, when I read this, I kind of went like, you're pumping yourself up while trying to give credit to your Imagineers. And I'm like, no, like I don't like people who do this when they leave. They're like, look at how great, and we came up and look at, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, but you really didn't do anything.
Well, that we know of.
Well, okay, so then that becomes a question. Why do you think she's leaving?
Well, maybe she found another opportunity.
Okay, but listen to her spiel.
Yeah.
To me, she's changing the world. Okay, I don't see how changing the world to an extent, yes.
That was a bit much, for sure.
That's my point. So I just read this and kind of just shook my head. I'm like, you got fired. That's the way I feel.
Oh, okay.
No joke. I feel like DeMauro and Iger walked in and said, you're not doing the job. You're fired. I don't think, this is where I kind of go with the Splash Mountain. The rumors I'm hearing, if they turn out to be true, it's not gonna be good. I'm hoping it is good though. I'm like crossing myself, like, please let it be good. I don't.
So do you think though it's a situation where if she's hired, I'm trying to think back to like June of 2020. Do you think it's kind of a position, like a situation where they put her there knowing that it's kind of somebody to take the fall for things that are not going to go well?
That is an interesting question.
That they gave that role to Bob Chapek.
They gave that role to no. Overall, they gave that role 100% gave it to Bob Chapek.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't say that for sure with this because you look at what happened to Bob Chapek, you can pretty much point at and go like, yeah, that's what they did to him.
Right.
The articles, that one article, I think it was in the Reporter, that really long one that I read that was an amazing read. I think it was on the Hollywood Reporter. reading that thing, I was like, holy crap, they totally set up Bob
Sure.
Chapek. Iger set him up. This one I'm not so sure, but to me, it just something's weird here to me, and this is what Disney's been doing lately. Has been like, okay, so he's temporary. Why? So this is why I'm thinking they got fired and it was done quickly because it's like, why? Okay, he's going to be here, but why aren't you promoting him? It sounds like he's the guy you need to promote, the Bruce Vaughn. Like, why isn't he like, she's leaving and here's her replacement and new head of WDI.
Yeah.
So this is where I kind of look at and scratch my head. I mean, it could be nothing, but it's just odd to me. And right now with what's going on in Disney, things feel weird.
Well, no, you're right. There's a lot of things. It could have been she was hired on to sort of squelch the storm that was inside of WDI. A lot of uncertainty of what was going on. And here I am to act as a buffer to sort of get everyone all together sort of thing. Or, I don't know, she wasn't part of the Disney family when she got hired. So she was brought on. And I have to think about what was the political climate in 2020 at that point.
But
I think I know where you're going.
I'm not going to go there because...
No. And then, so basically you're...
No, but that, and maybe and then expecting, hopefully there will be great things, and then there wasn't.
Yeah,
well,
shocker.
and then, I mean, she was an architect, and apparently this isn't in this, but she was an architect from a really big firm.
Yeah.
And so this is where I'm kind of like, maybe she's just a better architect than a president of WDI.
And that could very well be.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not saying she was a DEI type, hire, but this is where I kind of go, like, what were you guys thinking? Like, if you have a guy like Bruce Vaughn, proven track record,
yeah.
Why maybe he didn't want it. Maybe there was something there, like he wasn't prepared to take on that role.
Right.
And so maybe he was like, "Nah, I don't want it." I mean, that could be true too.
Sure.
But I have more of a thing like, why are you taking to Instagram to say you're quitting? These are the things, like, where's a press release saying, "Hey, yada yada yada, Disney."
Yeah.
It just feels so like out of sorts and unprofessional, and just seems odd to me that I mean, we're not even going to talk about what they did to the guy who's running the X-Men, the new X-Men 97 show, the cartoon.
Yeah, I didn't bring that up.
Oh yeah, no, I know. They fired him just straight out. You're like, what happened? Things like this just make you scratch your head a little bit, like, what's really going on here? Right. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, I didn't really think that much of it. Then I started reading I read, oh wait, she announced it on Instagram? Okay, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then I read what she said, and I'm like, okay, well, that's a little self-aggrandizing, I think.
Yeah.
And then I kind of went like, and then I looked into Bruce Vaughn, and I'm like, but this guy sounds like he was tailor-made for the role. Why didn't he take it? So all these questions started going off in my mind, like, what?
Yeah.
It's just weird to me.
Sure. Okay. Well, we shall see how it all goes. I think we're in good hands though with Bruce Vaughn. I just hope he's allowed to do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we'll put that one to bed. Next news item: Hollywoodland nighttime parties return with Club Pixar at DCA. This is perfect for Rudy. He loves this. Club Pixar, a new nighttime party, will take place in Hollywoodland at DCA during the summer's Pixar Fest. Disneyland Park will also host the Pixar Pals Playtime Party during the day. Pixar backdrops, games, and characters will be available during the day at the Hollywood Backlot. Club Pixar takes over at night, featuring an interactive DJ dance party, live performances, games, photo opportunities, themed food, specially crafted beverages, and more. Hollywoodland and DCA used to host regular nighttime festivals, including Glowfest in 2010, Electronica, celebrating Tron Legacy from 2010 to 2012, and Mad Tea Party, celebrating the live-action Alice in Wonderland from 2012 to 2016. And also Freeze the Night, a family dance party inspired by Frozen in 2015. There has not been any such dance party or festival in nearly a decade. Pixar Palace Playtime Party at Disneyland Park. There was a little bit about that over at Disneyland. Guests can dance and play the Pixar way, whatever that means, throughout the day with characters at the Pixar Palace Playtime Party in Fantasyland Theater. This high energy show will include interactive games, photo locations, activities, and a selection of shorts playing on the big screen. Together Forever, a Pixar nighttime spectacular, will be performed at night, and a Pixar Fest sculpture will be displayed on Main Street, USA, and Disneyland. The Pixar Fest runs at the Disneyland Resort from April 26th through August 4th. Becky, does any of this move the needle for you?
So I do like Pixar stuff, but I guess I'm having a hard time with it just in the sense of a couple things. One, I definitely think that theater, they need to use it for something. I mean, to think it hasn't been used in a decade, we do need to utilize that, or they do. I guess in that part, Pixar makes more sense being there. But at Disneyland, I don't get why it's coming for Pixar Fest there and why it's not over at Pixar Pier. Yeah, like why? To me, I'm having a hard time that it's moving to other locations. I guess that part, having a hard time wrapping my head around that. And even the show, having it be in Hollywoodland, the only way I can wrap my head around that is just the fact that Monsters, Inc. is still over there. So... yeah, but it just feels all over the place to me. Yeah, for me too. This doesn't move the needle at all for me. I'm not that I'm not their demographic, but no, you're right. It does feel a little disjointed with it being at Disneyland. But some people are going to like this, and I think for that certain demographic, it'll be good for them. And I'm glad that they're using Hollywood Studios for something. Well, yeah. Yeah, like I'm glad that is being used, and I know like my 2-year-old would enjoy the shows, so I don't doubt that. It just wouldn't have been my first choice. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it, and I kind of get that the disjointed feel behind it. Yeah, because it would make more sense if we're gonna have like a Pixar Pals Playtime party. It would be over in DCA. They have a whole land area dedicated to it. But that being said, I'm not mad at it. I mean, so Pixar, while hasn't been doing too great lately, we can negate or forget about the latest things and go back to the history of Pixar and how great that is. So the heritage and the lineage of Pixar films is still overall pretty great, So I'm glad that they're doing something like this to celebrate Pixar, because to me at this point, Pixar is deserved of the recognition. I don't know why they are doing the Playtime party thing in Disneyland Park, but hey, again, not my, like you were saying, not my demographic. I see you going to this though, Becky. So
yeah, I know. Yeah, I definitely would. Yeah, just it's a little bit all over the place is the only thing for me.
Oh yeah. So next news item, and this is a really good one, is Patrick Warburton surprises guests at Soarin' Over California at Disney California Adventure. Disney shared a video and photos of Warburton appearing in person to guests waiting in line to ride Soarin' Over California. The original version of the attraction has returned for a limited time during the Disney California Adventure Food and Wine Festival. The safety spiel video featuring Warburton has played for guests for over 20 years at Soarin' and Disney California Adventure and in Epcot. A cast member introduced Warburton as the chief flight attendant. The guests immediately recognized Warburton, who was wearing a flight attendant's uniform. He referenced the safety spiel, which had just played, by telling one guest, "Nice work, pal," and reminding another to store those little beauties. Those mouse ears. Yeah. Warburton told Disney Parks blog that it's just magical to see how beloved Soarin' Over California still is after all these years. I can remember my first trip to Disneyland at the age of 5, and I continue to be a huge Disney fan. So to be part of the Disney attraction that has lasted this long has just been such a sweet and wonderful thing for me. Getting to surprise guests today was super fun, and it's great to see the impact of this safety intro has made for the past 23 years and how people still love it. It was such a blast getting to be the chief flight attendant for Soarin' Over California once again.
Yeah, I thought that was a great story.
Yeah, I'm glad that they could do little things like this.
Well, yeah, I mean, watching the video, He came out, and I'm like, oh, how would I have loved to have been there for that?
I know.
And I love when Disney does this, things like this. I mean, they did, Johnny Depp with Jack Sparrow a few years back, and it's always an amazing thing when that happens. So, yeah. I mean, and honestly, looking at the picture, you know what he reminded me when he came out? It made me feel like he was like Tom Hanks in Sully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
isn't that? Doesn't he look like that?
Yeah, definitely. And he seems so happy to be a part of that, which that made me feel really good reading it too.
Yeah.
When you have, somebody doing something like that, and to know that they took it as such a, such a special thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
100%.
100%. Okay. We have a few more news items here. Do you want to go through all of them or just now?
No, let's bang them out, man.
Okay.
These are all kind of, honestly, these are all good ones.
Okay. Well, we'll try to be quick because this is gonna be a long show. All right. Next news item is Patty Jenkins says Star Wars Rogue Squadron film is back on. It looks like the Star Wars film, the Rogue Squadron, may see the light of the day, as director Patty Jenkins has announced she is back on previously shelved project. In an interview on the podcast Talking Pictures, Patty Jenkins revealed she is once again working on a script for Rogue Squadron. Jenkins, who previously directed Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 1984, was set to work on a third film in the franchise. However, that fell apart after restructuring at DC Studios. Thus, Jenkins has been freed up to work on Rogue Squadron. She shared that she finalized the deal with Lucasfilm at the start of the strike, meaning I now owe a draft to Star Wars, so we will see what happens there. Originally announced in the year 2020, Disney Investor Day event, Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm, described Rogue Squadron as follows. This story will introduce a new generation of starfighter pilots as they earn their wings and risk their lives in a boundary-pushing, high-speed thrill ride. The legend of Rogue Squadron has been long beloved by Star Wars fans and will move us into a future era of the galaxy. This news comes at an interesting time, as during a recent Morgan Stanley Technology, Media and Telecom Conference Q&A, Disney CEO Bob Iger discussed improving the Disney film slate, which has included cutting some previously slated projects. He said, "We've actually made those tough calls." Iger shared. We've not been that public about it, but we've killed a few projects already that we just didn't feel were strong enough. So it looks like we're going to get some version of this.
Good.
Rogue Squadron.
Good.
Yeah. I know Becky is stoked.
Oh, I can't wait. No, but in seriousness, even though it's not my thing, I want to see it do well, especially with having Galaxy's Edge in the park in that presence. I want Star Wars to be good, and I want it to be big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep. No, and so this comes to as a very surprise a little bit, but very welcome news for me. One of the things when they announced this back in 2020 was like, oh, cool, because of how Patty Jenkins was kind of talking about it, because she kind of did a little preview video and talking about it, and her dad, I believe, was a fighter pilot too.
Yes.
So she has that kind of idea in her head. Now, looking at Wonder Woman, the first one was great. In 1984, not so much. But that being said, she is still a great director. I really do enjoy her work overall. I think her style and understanding and being able to tell a story is great. Now, what I find interesting is that the rumor mill was that she was being really difficult to work with. And that was part of the reason why that project fell apart in the first place. So the fact that they came back to me is kind of a tell, or that she's coming back is kind of a positive thing for me in Iger, and I'm not even going to say Kathleen Kennedy, because I honestly think she's on cruise control. But I think Iger realizing, like, hey, we need to go back to the base and the core. So Rogue Squadron is definitely coming from OT lineage. Okay, so I've often said that if you want to make good Star Wars that people are going to glom onto just automatically, they need to be rooted at some level in the OT.
Yeah.
So if they root this in the OT, yeah, Patty Jenkins is a great director. They have a good script. She writes up a great script and a great story. Who isn't going to want to watch fighter pilots going through an X-wings and B-wings and A-wings and Y-wings and doing all this kind of stuff and then introducing new pilots, introducing new vehicles? I mean, this, if done properly, has the potentiality to be a great new series of films.
Yep.
You know, so you don't totally do the team-up type of movie where you have a squadron, you're going to have people die, you're going to have characters you like, and then the tragedy, and then you can introduce, and this is what's great about it, is that you can cameo Leia, you can cameo Han, you can cameo Luke or Chewie or, 3PO or R2. I mean, there's so many things you can do because it sounds like originally, now it could have changed, but originally it sounded like it was going to be based more into right around, right in between New Hope and Empire.
Is it?
That's the feel I got.
Oh, okay.
Now, it was never expressly said that I can remember. But I got that feel in the description because Rogue Squadron was coming up through there. It's got to be in that timeline. It's got to be in the OT timeline, in my opinion, for it to be really meaningful and impactful.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, good. I'm looking forward to this. And
I am too.
I'm hoping this...
I hope this pans out.
Yep.
Because, because Iger saying, well, we've had to make those tough calls. I'm like, Iger... I get you make that, but Lucasfilm does this often. They've got a proven track record of announcing a bunch of stuff and then letting them kind of fall away, and then without saying anything. Yeah. So he said that comment. I laughed. I'm like, buddy, you do that all the time already. Oh, we've been doing it quietly. You do that all the time. Anyway.
Okay. Next news item, this will be a quick one, is reports indicate 4 Disney executives are the top picks to succeed Bob Iger as CEO. The 4 people in the running are co-chairman of Disney co-chairman of Disney Entertainment, Dana Walden, chairman of Disney Parks Experiences and Products, Josh D'Amaro, co-chairman of Disney Entertainment, Alan Bergman, and chairman of ESPN and Sports Content, Jimmy Pitaro. Pitaro. From Bloomberg sources, who asked to remain anonymous. All 4 of the candidates are getting time with Iger with the intent of showing them how he does the job and exposing them to areas of the company that are outside of their expertise. They also noted that Disney may appoint a chief operating officer or president before the end of Iger's tenure as part of the transition. They later note that a new CEO will not be chosen by the end of 2024.
Nope.
Okay, so those are just some 4 people that are in the running. The only person we really know anything about is Josh D'Amaro, to be honest. Do you have any thoughts about that, Becky?
No, not really at this point, but I definitely am going to start kind of researching them.
Okay, yeah.
And see and not that my opinion really matters,
or matters.
But I would like to get to know them and kind of decide who I think it should be, who I think it's going to be, that sort of thing.
Yep, for sure. And I like the idea that someone will be announced before Iger retires again, so that there's a transition.
Well, so you know why they're doing this, right?
Why?
What's coming up in a couple of months?
D23?
No. In the board.
Oh, yeah.
This is why.
Okay.
Because one of the things that they're fighting, a lot of the moves that are being made now are being done to fight off the proxy battle.
Yeah.
So this is another step in that, because one of the things that Iger promised a year ago was that they would have a valid succession plan. And until these names were announced, there had been not a peep about that.
Not at all.
So I just find it curious on the timing why they would drop these people. Now, this is no way in me trying to denigrate any of these people. Because they could be all good, and my real quick take on them is like, as I read them, like Jimmy Pitaro, no, you're ESPN, sorry, no. I right now going off the top of what I know, I don't know Dana, Walden, but I see it would have to be. I don't think looking at Disney Entertainment right now, I see what they're doing, so I go no. Josh tomorrow I'd lean to because I've seen what he's doing. He's doing a better job. And maybe Alan Bergman. But that's just right off the cuff. But I do need to I'm going to do what Becky does. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. There's 2 more items, right? Yeah, 2 more items left. Adventureland Day strikes at Disneyland. Adventureland Day, the annual unofficial dress-up day for fans of the Jungle Cruise, Enchanted Tiki Room, and all things Indiana Jones, drew a swelling crowd of explorers and adventurers to Disneyland on Sunday, March 3rd, 2024. Adventureland Day is a fun dress-up day to celebrate the magic Walt and the Imagineers made, said Tiki Tony Murphy, a Ventura, California artist and the event's organizer. It gives us dreamers an excuse to play make-believe in the most magical place on Earth. A flood of khaki, tiki print, flowering Mickey ears, and feathered plumes entered the gates of the park, headed through the left tunnel past the iconic attraction posters, and marched straight to the Adventureland Arch for a series of pre-scheduled gatherings and activities, including a treasure hunt with real prizes. Now, I know, Udi, you have done such an adventure.
I have.
Yeah.
Yep, it was fun.
It was fun?
Yeah, it was a good time.
Did it take the whole day?
No, it was like half the day. It was really the kind of scavenger hunt kind of thing was fun, but that doesn't. It really is. You can do it at your own pace.
Okay.
You really could.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that something you would get involved in, Becky?
I think it would be a lot of fun. I know I saw a lot of Joey from the DU's post there.
And that's who I went with.
I saw him, so I feel like I was kind of living it through some of his stories. I think that it'd be fun to see. I don't know necessarily for me that I would plan my trip around that, but I think that it would be a lot of fun.
Sure.
It is fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth it, experience at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I still have the medallion I got. It's here to be in my room.
Oh, that's cool.
Did you go down just for that, or were you happen to be there when you were there?
That was part of it.
Oh, it's part of it. Yeah. Okay. That does seem fun. I mean, I am surprised I've never done it since Adventureland and Frontierland are my 2 favorite lands. So, maybe I got to consider that. That was when? That was March. Is it the same time every year, you think?
Yeah, it's in that same area. Yeah.
Well, now that you have a magic key.
Oh, yeah, I know. Speaking of that, Magic Key sales resume. The Disneyland Resort opened up sales of new Magic Key passes last Tuesday, but sales have not been as brisk as they are in the past. Nearly a week later, all but one of the Magic Key type is still available, and they're still you can get them now. So they're back. Maybe not for a limited time, but they're back for anyone to get, which I think is great.
Great.
And they should have them going all year.
Yes.
Anytime you want.
Yes.
Nonsense with this limited scarcity stuff.
Artificial
Scarcity, just to get you frantic and panicky about getting one. But this time the opposite. Walt Disney last opened Magic Key sales in January. The offering lasted less than a day, with many fans shut out, including me,
including Mark,
and Jason.
Yeah.
The top 3 tiers of Magic Key sold out within 9 hours, followed by the Southern California exclusive Magic Key later that night. This time, the opposite is true. The Magic Key sold out on Tuesday, but the top 3 tiers are still available to purchase as of press time. As of this recording, they are.
Yep.
This is only the second time Disney has sold new Magic Keys since suspending the sales of September 2023. The cost of the passes increased when Disney raised admission prices in October. At the time affecting only those who wanted to renew their pass. I don't need to describe the 3 that are listed, but we all know that they're there, and they should just keep these things open at all time. And I still think that you should be able to convert your daily ticket to that if that's what you want to do.
Yep.
Are they saying you can't convert your daily ticket into it?
Oh, I think you can.
Or you can while they're open.
Well, the only way I knew how to do that was being at the park and going to the actual ticket booth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know something. So whenever they came live for sale, I did go in the queue and just imagine that I was going to get to buy one. So I'm sorry for those that I jammed up the queue for. Yeah, I apologize. But I noticed that it said I had taken a screenshot of it, but there was some verbiage that said you could only use 1 gift card, and it was only a certain amount that you could put on the gift card.
Okay.
Which I found interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay. We need to point out when you see signs of positivity, and this is one.
Oh.
And it being now
And this is rare for movie.
Yeah, well, this remove. Okay, this is not me describe. My opinion on what you get for what you're paying for. That is still the big what is it? The hitch in my giddy up. I just can't. Not yet. But that being said, these are the signs that Disney is finally going like, okay, we can't continue to do what we've been doing. We can't continue with upsetting and making this experience difficult. We can't continue with depending on the Disney faithful to carry this and just take what we give.
Right.
And I think I said it a while back that if we as fans of the park want to enact our change and try to push Disney, we have to vote with our wallet.
Yeah.
Huge that they didn't sell out. Okay?
Yeah.
Huge that people went like, nah, dude, we're not playing this game anymore.
Right.
So the fact is that now they're going to leave this open. If they go back and they close them again, I'll be like, you messed up again. They need to leave these open and see what happens. The sentiment towards Disney from the vast majority of the public that aren't the faithful, half and half, isn't good anymore. Mm-hmm. So they need to do everything they can to begin to recapture those people. These are all steps in the right direction. This is the slow moving of turning the cruise ship and the Freightliner into the direction. So these are all good. This is like, I'm happy when I read this. I'm like, good. And this is the other thing that if people don't think that our actions can impact things, these are little signs that go, oh, wait, maybe it is. Maybe we are affecting a little bit of change in this monolith that Disney has become. And so I hope that they do not sell out, air quoting, and I'm air quoting that, again. And then this becomes back to the normalcy of like, okay, they're always available if you want to spend them. There you go. You want to know when I'm going to throw a party? And I'm saying this right now. The second, that little part, where is it?
I don't know.
Get excited to experience the happiest place on earth again and again and again with reservation-based admission. The second that last bit of that sentence goes away, that's when I'm going to throw a party. Because that is going to be one of the biggest signs that they're finally pulling away from these bad decisions.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So overall good. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's going to wrap up the news. We have the guys from the sweep spot on deck waiting to talk to us. And we've been talking about news for so long anyway. So with that, we're going to end the news and let's go over to our feature presentation.
And now for our feature presentation.
Hey, LTP fans, this is the feature presentation. Thank you so much for getting like this far into the show. We have special guests on this afternoon. Now, if you've been around the Disneyland podcast game for a while, you will definitely know who these folks are. I've been a long-time listener. A long time I've been listening to these guys, but we're very honored to have them on their show. It is both Lynn and Ken from the Sweep Spot podcast.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us along.
Oh, you are welcome. It's definitely our pleasure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just real quick, give the listeners, how long have you guys been doing your show?
Since 2011.
2011. Okay.
Yeah, Lynn's been doing it longer than I have.
Yes. Yeah. I remember, Lynn, and I think I brought this up to you before. I started listening when you had, I think, Vince on.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was quite a while ago.
That was That was probably 2000. I don't even know. I don't know.
Yeah, that was such a long time ago. But you guys have been doing it for so long. You guys have been bringing it every week now, right?
Yeah, every week.
See, we do.
Wow.
We do ours every 2 weeks, and that's just way too much. But I mean, now it's a lot. But no, I'm sorry, ours is not way too much, but every week would be
That's a lot of work.
A lot of work.
Yeah, hats off. That's a lot of work.
We don't actually record every week, so it's a little behind the scenes. We record everything on one night, but I separate them into two episodes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So we have like a current events, like Disneyland news episode, and then that's every other week. And then we have like our main episode where we have guests on and interviews. And then we talk, sometimes we don't have a guest. We'll just talk history, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And you guys have had like a bevy of guests too, so I'm always impressed by the guys and girls that you have on your show. So I always find that to be very interesting. So
yeah, we've been very lucky to be able to get the people that we have had on. Yeah,
Lynn's really good at booking guests and prepping them up, and I leave that up to him mostly.
Yeah, so you're like me with Mark. I let Mark do all that. I'm like, hey, how about this person? And Mark goes, well, let me see. And he's the one who goes and does all the heavy lifting to make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I had, Michael Eisner contacted me and said, I wanted to come on your podcast. And I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know. I said, Lynn handles all of that. And he says, what's Lynn's contact info? And I said, I'm not giving that to you.
Are you kidding me? I know, right?
Yeah.
So I hope Lynn's not upset at that I turned down Michael Eisner. But
yeah.
You can't have everybody on. I mean, you do have to be picky, right?
Yeah, you have to be picky. But speaking of guests, both your show and our show, we're both blessed to have the late great Jim Korkis on. Yeah. And that guy talks. He talked so much, but
He's amazing.
It was so fun to listen to him talk.
Yeah.
I mean, you could basically ask him one question, go get coffee, come back.
And he's still going. Oh yeah, it was amazing though.
Do the New York.
He was great.
Yeah, he was great,
Yeah.
and I just. Just a wealth of information that he could just dump on you.
Yeah.
And it's like, there are many times now where I'm missing him.
Yeah.
That I could just go, dude, what do you think about this?
Exactly. No, and then you go back to that old expression, and he will forget more than I'll probably ever know.
For sure.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. Such an honor.
We miss him.
Yeah, absolutely.
You say, Jim, what do you think about the year 1964? And you just give him a couple hours.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I do miss that guy.
Yep.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, as opposed to being sad, I'm very thankful. I'm choosing to be thankful that we got to at least have one or two shows with him, and you guys had a lot more. And of course, his books are going to live on forever. So.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some current state of affairs in the parks. I want to get your opinion on things because a lot of things are happening right now at the DLR. That's the Disneyland Resort.
Oh, thanks for clearing that up. Yeah. I did not know.
I thought you meant the Disneyland Railroad. But
okay. No, that one too.
Okay. But let's start with a hot topic here with Splash Mountain, because I know that Ken, this particular attraction is close to your heart, Ken. And I want to know just, how are you feeling about Tiana's Bayou Adventure coming to both U.S. parks?
Well, I'm gonna miss Splash Mountain.
Yep. Yep.
I kind of think that there could have been some better moves done. Like, I don't know, anyone who loves Winnie the Pooh is going to hate this, but they could have given Tiana a new attraction where Winnie the Pooh is and adapted the Country Bear restaurant to hers. And then they didn't have to keep Splash Mountain. They could have, there's a bunch of things you could have done with that. Added the Country Bears to it. Humphrey the Bear, Jay Woodlore, all that sort of thing. You could have done Pocahontas with that. I mean, there's all kinds of things you could have done with it. Or my favorite thing, and they had talked about this in kind of the late 80s, what if they did a new set of cartoons with the Brer characters?
Yeah. And
then people would just know, most people would know them from those cartoons, and then you wouldn't have had this situation. But yeah, that would have been nice.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
So I'm kind of reserving judgment on Tiana's until it's done. I'm sure it'll be. I'm sure. I mean, the physical ride's still going to be the same. So that aspect's going to be fun. And I hope what they do is good, and I hope it works out well. I'm not sitting here saying, "Gee, I hope it's terrible and nobody likes it."
Right.
Why would I want that?
Yeah.
I want people to be able to go there and enjoy themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Well, yeah, I know, and that's the thing. We're critical here, but it's always coming from that pods. Like we want it to be really good. We want people to have a good time. And I think last time we brought up what we were kind of talking about ideas that they could have done. We thought like, well, they could have done Moana because there's all these different things that they could have done.
Sure.
Versus what they did do. I hadn't thought of that. The creating new content with the Brer characters. I think that would have been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. I think that is a phenomenal idea.
Too, man.
See?
Yeah, there are steps that I feel that we always kind of look at, and I mean, I know we armchair Imagineerians, as Mark likes to say.
Yeah.
It's easy for us to sit here and say this, but
Sure.
I mean, yeah, no, but definitely we hope. I mean, the animatronics, the gen that they're coming out with, looks amazing. So yeah, I'm hoping with everything in me, it's going to be amazing.
I was in contact with Valerie Stewart, who Nick Stewart's daughter. Nick Stewart was the voice of Brer Bear.
Oh.
She passed away relatively recently, unfortunately.
Oh, shoot.
But she lived long enough to know that they were going to change the attraction, and she was disappointed.
Yeah.
Her father's voice was in Splash Mountain, and they were very proud of that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, anyone who doesn't know who Nick Stewart and Valerie Stewart are, you can look them up. Just amazing people who really did some great things.
Yeah, and I think that's always the one of the things why we kind of, when they announced this, I think that was another part of it was understanding the legacy of that attraction. You know, I mean, being around as long as it's been. And then understanding all the work that they put into it for good representation and having just a wonderful attraction. And yeah, so to see that kind of move away is always difficult, no matter if you're in agreement or not. So yeah, having somebody's legacy like that, not erased, but taken over is always like it's not an easy thing to deal with.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned before, I'm trying to approach it with an open mind, and I really am.
Yeah.
Like when I do get the chance to go on for the first time, I want to have an open mind, but I know that I'm going to be struggling a little bit, going, man, why does this have to be like this?
Yeah.
But I am going to go, okay, well, maybe it could be cool, and maybe I'm just, like I said, I'm struggling to have an open mind, but whatever, it's that die has been cast.
Yep. We got it coming. We're going to have it, and we're going to ride it.
Well, and now it's one of those things where it's already here, so you want to just approach it with an open mind and hope that they do the best that they can absolutely do with it, especially when they are taking over just something that's so beloved.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And, I mean, they're going to have to hit a home run with this.
Oh, yeah.
There's no, high fly ball to the warning track here. It's got to clear the fence.
Yeah, 100%. So, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they know that. I mean, Imagineering hasn't done a lot of things that were terrible, right? So everything they've done that I can think of has been, Superstar Limo, but that's a whole nother story behind that.
We don't talk about, first rule about Superstar Limo, we don't talk about Superstar Limo.
Oh, man.
Right.
Yeah.
But even rides like Rocket Rods could have been good, but there was other things that stopped that from happening. But anyways, they always do good things. I mean, look at the last thing that just opened at the Treehouse, and then Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which I love.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Yeah. Have you got a chance to go on that, Becky?
Yeah, actually, I went on that at Hollywood Studios.
Yep. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, it's great.
Yep. Yeah. I love that thing.
It is.
Yep. I'm odd man out. Haven't been on yet.
Well, have you been on it, Ken? You must have, right?
Yes, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yep, you're the odd man out, Rudy.
Odd man out. Dang. All right. No,
But,
I'll get it there.
do you guys always go on, when Splash Mountain was open, was that something that you guys always went on?
It really depended on who I was there with.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Nothing there was absolute, an absolute must every single time. But to me, even more that I'd like to see were people that I knew who worked there. There was a time that I would go by the Coke Corner piano, and there would always be people I knew there, or I talk about this a lot on our podcast. I mentioned it many times. The Disney Gallery when it was above Pirates of the Caribbean,
Right?
Yeah.
I made friends there, and being able to go up there and see people and all that. That was even more important to me than any one given experience. So that was such an attraction experience. But I did enjoy Splash Mountain right up to the very end. Took my last ride in May of 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. When you brought up that Disney Gallery, I have memories of going up there and buying as many e-ticket magazines as I could. Did you ever buy those there, Ken?
Yes. I don't know if I should go into a painful story about that.
Sure. Sure, go ahead.
I was collecting those as early as I could. And I don't know if I had the original issue, but I had pretty much a full set. And I got married, and my lovely bride decided they should be in side binders, and she did that and put them in sleeves, and that was really great, really organized and everything. What I didn't know is that she had stored them underneath our water heater in our condo.
Oh no!
That thing leaked. That thing leaked one day.
Oh no!
Oh man!
I had no idea that they were under there, and which was a good thing because I was already struggling to leave for work on time, and then when I came back at the end of my work day, she goes, "Oh, by the way."
Oh.
So I took them out and rescued them as best as I could, But I'm glad they're at the Walt Disney Family Museum.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up because they have a lot of them there. And I know that you can get them on CD, like a PDF version of them, but it's still nice to have them. I still have mine. I didn't have all of them for sure, but man, okay, we're going off a different tangent. I love the e-ticket magazine. Okay, so here we are. Disneyland Forward took another step to become a reality last week when I think the City of Anaheim Planning Commission voted yes. 5-1, I believe. 5-1. So they have one more hurdle to cross, I think in April, which I assume is going to be passing. This is a good thing for you guys, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't hear from you, Ken.
No, as an Anaheim resident and homeowner, I am very excited about Disneyland Forward. I'm not getting excited about anything that's going to actually be there. I'm just excited that, to me, tourism and convention money is some of the best money.
Correct.
People come into town, they drop a lot of money, and they leave. They're not filling up your schools. They're not, they're usually not filling up your hospitals and things like that. They're not putting a big demand on services. They're just coming in, spending a lot of money and leaving. So I'm happy about Disneyland Forward. I'll be more excited about the actual attractions once construction starts, because I know everything can change before that happens.
Correct.
For sure.
Yeah, until the shovels are in the ground and things are beginning to move, anything can really happen.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't want to get too attached to a specific idea.
Well, that's the interesting part is has there been anything really said about what's going in there? We've been trying to track it, and there's always something
seen
speculation.
The conceptual art.
Yeah, but the concept art is concept art.
But let's ask the experts from the sweep spot.
Yep.
Because they've been in the game since 2011. We've been only at it since 2016.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to see there? And what do you guys want to see, and what makes sense?
Well, I always think that they should do a third part. It's always crowded now.
Mm-hmm.
The demand is way high. I think it would spread out the crowds a little bit if they were able to do a third park. So I always had thought that they should do that. I mean, I was just there a few days ago, and it was just packed. It's just, I mean, lines that used to be 10, 15 minutes, like Jungle Cruise, are now, 45 to an hour. It's just ridiculous. If they spread things out, I mean, there's always going to be a big demand for Disneyland, the original park.
Yeah.
But I do think if they want it to be a resort where, like Disney World, you don't go for 2-3 days when you go to Walt Disney World. Usually, you would do like a week.
Yep.
And you can do a week at Disneyland, but I think if they had the third, they could easily, guests could easily do 5 days, 6 days. So that's my thought on it. I don't know if they are going to do a third park. I kind of don't think so, at least from some of the plans. But even the plans they've put out there were not plans. They were just for zoning and ideas, and they had said that. So even some of the stuff that they had mentioned is not. I don't think any of it is really anything that they're going to actually do.
Well, I do want them to use the space as well as they can, which I think that's part of what's going on here. Is they want to get the zoning changed because it would make sense. I mean, since space is so limited in the Disneyland Resort, it would make sense to have multiple things on top of each other. For example, you can have the ground floor be shops, restaurants, whatever, and you can put lodging above it. I mean, that sort of thing. You need to make the best use of space that you can. As far as the third part, I agree with Lynn. We need the third part. I would basically like to see a version of Westcott infused with the old Discovery Bay concept as its organizing principle. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Vaguely.
But that would be a wonderful third park. Otherwise, I'm not sure what they'll do with that.
When you said Discovery Bay, are you talking about that steampunk stuff?
That's you're remembering the sort of the gist of the concept, but basically, the organizing principle would be this is a place that was founded by explorers and discoverers and adventurers and things like that. And then, so that would explain why you have, all these different cultures represented and things like that, all these different inventions for the future and whatnot.
Oh.
That would be interesting.
That would be interesting. I mean, the Westcott concept. I mean, for those of you who've been to Epcot, I know you haven't yet. Udi,
I have not
yet, but I know Becky has, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been to. Yeah.
And I was there last September, and I'm guessing you, Lynn, and Ken have been out there.
Yeah, I've been there once.
That is just. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kim.
I've been there a bunch of times, but I have not been since 2016.
Okay. This Epcot is just a whole different vibe that I'm so enamored with that whole thing. I just like, holy cow. I wish we had something like that here. But you guys are talking about over by Toy Story, or is it? I never know what that lot is.
I think Toy Story.
Is it Toy Story or Mickey and Friends?
There's a Toy Story and there's the Catella cast member lot.
Right.
Okay, so you're talking about like a third gate over there, right?
I think that would probably be where they would have to put it. The land that they've also mentioned about expansion is next to the Pixar Pier Hotel.
Yes.
Pixar Place.
Yeah.
I don't think that's enough for a third park. They have talked about expanding California Adventure into that, which would be great. And they could easily do like under that road or over or however to get there. Yeah.
And then on the other side of that Pixar Place, over by Disneyland Hotel, on that edge, I mean, they had talked about putting like a walkway from Critter Country
over,
right,
or over, under, whatever, into that little lot there, or a little lot. It's probably big enough for quite a few things.
Yep. Well, that's the question. Is like, how much room are they really going to be able to take up?
I mean, just that land you mentioned over there. Because you also have to think of backstage, infrastructure, all of that. So they could probably put one land over there if they were to do that. That's why I say the third park, because they have Toy Story I don't know how many acres all this is, but
No.
it's pretty big, Toy Story lot. And then if you were
Yeah.
to add the cast member lot, because they can always move that, and they probably will move
Yeah,
that.
to me, those are the things like parking. I always feel like as much as a pain that it can be, especially for cast members, they already have them far enough away where they have to tram them in at some point. So I don't see why they wouldn't continue to do that and maybe redo that. Or, we always said there's always underground too. There's a lot of things they can do, but it's like it's going to be the question is what are they going to go with? Because we've talked about it before about it being enough area for them to maybe have a couple lands, maybe do something there, extending out from the existing park. But yeah, who knows what it is? Because right now, when you look at it, it's nothing but big blocks of land. Like this is where we want to go. This is what we're talking about. Outside of that, we get the concept art, and then beyond that, we've got nothing really. No real solid.
Yeah, and then you
idea.
have the transportation to get guests from, what is now the Disneyland Resort to Toy Story lot.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Some people have said, the sky, kind of like the Skyliner, or what is that what it's called? Yeah, Disney World Skyliner.
Yeah. Sure.
Something like that, possibly.
That's not horribly far for them to do that, but
No.
I mean, they definitely cover more ground in Florida with their Skyliner thing, but yeah, I mean, there is a lot. I mean, yeah, it's easy to go, yeah, they should do this and that, but there's a ton of infrastructure that I don't personally ever really consider.
Well,
but that they need to.
Exactly. And then the other thing is like the other thing that I'm always trying to tell people is like this is like going to be a really, really, really long time before we get anything. So we're going to be years and years and years down the road before we really get anything physical, even remotely physical to look at. I mean,
well, I mean, on one hand, I think you're right, but I also think that they have a plan in place. Like, okay, as soon as we get the green light, now we can start doing this. Because they've had internal discussions about this is what we want and this is what we can get, and so I mean, I don't know, maybe you're right. Maybe it's going to be like many years, but I'm hoping that we get shovel to ground soon. What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
I mean, Ken, when did they start talking about a second park? So the timeline, that was like 10 years,
the first
right?
time they publicly mentioned it was at the grand opening of Splash Mountain.
89?
So July of 1989. Dick Nunes mentioned it at the press conference. And then, of course, in early 1990, they went really hard with it, saying, "Oh, it's the Disney decade," and that was, they said we're going to build a second theme park here. We're going to build one in Long Beach as well.
Yeah.
And so that's when they really started to push for it, and then of course nothing actually opened until early of 2001.
Yeah. So 12 years.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. So looking at it realistically, it's going to be a minute. So it's almost like it's fun to talk about it, but I guess I feel like I will feel better like we're talking about it when there is shovel to ground and we have a much more complex, concrete idea of like this is what we're going to do.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Concrete. Yeah, I mean, and that's going to be great. One of the things I actually really enjoy doing is watching construction photos of like theme parks, especially Disneyland, because I never know what the heck they're doing. Right. I mean, I know they're building Soares' Galaxy's Edge or whatever, but I don't know what that building is. Why are they trenching that? Why are those pipes going there? That kind of stuff. I love watching the progress. So I'm going to be very curious to once they announce whatever we're going to get. Then to see it come to fruition.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about it when Galaxy's Edge was going in. I mean, I did it too. We're like looking at progress. Like, there's video of that, and we're looking at progress. We kept on trying to figure out what was what, and I feel like this is going to be the same idea, but like multiplied by like a million as they begin to demolish and then start to move things around. Like I said, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say it's cool to be part of history like that too. Just being able to one day say, "Hey, I got to see all of this happening."
Yes, absolutely.
I'm excited about that.
Yes, me too. Now, are there any TDA asked you guys, Lynn and Ken, what IP do you guys want to see over in these parks?
That one's always a fun one.
What do you guys want to see?
Splash Mountain. No.
Horizons.
Horizons. Nice.
The old world of motion. The original Journey into Imagination.
Oh man.
I don't know.
Yeah, see,
reasons 4 and 5 why Lynn and Ken are not Imagineers.
Well, I mean, it's going to depend on what's popular at the time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I would want, if I was doing a third park, I would be doing Westcott with the with Discovery Bay. I even know what some of the landmarks, I guess, the word Walt would use would be weenies. I even know what some of those would be. They'd be enormous statues, kind of like in the ancient times of the Colossus and whatnot.
Oh,
but yeah, I mean, I've got various ideas.
That would be
I want somebody to pay me for them, though.
So he's keeping them close to the chest right now. I get that.
What I hope they don't do is just bring rides from other parks over there. I like to see original things for Disneyland, not just copies from other parks around the world. Although some of those, especially the foreign parks, would be nice because, like me, I don't think I'll ever get to a foreign Disneyland park. I hope so, but I just don't have immediate plans to do that. So some of those would be nice to have over there, like Mystic Manor or something like that. But,
well, no, and I agree with you 100% because the one thing that I've always been kind of critical about is and this was my critique of Galaxy's Edge when they did that. They Galaxy's Edge East and West. I'm like, why did you make them the same? You made virtually the same.
Well, it's cheaper.
I get why they did it for the logistics of it. But that being said, though, for the park, the identity of the park is paramount, right? It should be one of the things. So I agree with you. I mean, because I talk about Tron and all this stuff, and I always go like, well, we can make it fit, but do you really need it? It'd be cool and everything, but does Disneyland really need that? And so I'm with you 100%. Yeah, if they just started plugging in well, we got this one, we'll plug this one in and plug that in and yada yada.
Yeah.
Then I think it takes the sheen off of it, right? I think having original ideas and making Disneyland even more of an icon is what's important.
Yeah.
So I mean, because the one thing that I always get mad is when I feel or get upset and it irritates me is when I feel Disney's trying to homogenize everything. I don't like that. I like having that individuality
for sure
from park to park because then it incentivizes us to go to the different parks because you don't get this experience here. You don't get that experience here. You may have similarities, but definitely having its own individual feel and vibe like we know Disneyland does. I think it's something you can't mess with and you need to preserve and do everything to make it better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I want, it would be cool if they brought in original stuff and didn't just try to do a plug and play and try to be basic.
But they're gonna see what works.
Well, and there's the other thing too is like Ken was saying is well, it depends on what's popular and I see that point of view, but then the other part of it, but then I like Ken's ideas because it's more with Westcott and that kind of thing because it's
that
more
would be so awesome.
It's more than an IP, right? It's like I don't know. It's like it's a destination even more than it is. It isn't like, well, I'm going to go see this IP or I'm going to go hang out with that character, whatever. It's more of like a bigger, more encompassing type of idea, and I think that is the better idea, really.
Yeah.
But what have they been doing lately, right? Just IP,
exactly,
and everything. So I don't know if they will ever get away from that because they're going to try to always break. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
You're going to want to. If you have a popular movie, you're going to want to expand on that.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Well, and that has definitely been the MO as of late. I mean, that's been Iger's MO, and to an extent, it has worked. I mean, you can kind of critique what has and what hasn't worked, but yeah, that's been their MO as of late. And I go, maybe this is me, the pie in the sky, big sky, blue sky, and it is like, hey, let's break away from that a little bit and see what else we can do here. Like, let the Imagineers loose, like let them off the leash and let them go to town, and see what they come up with.
Well, and I mean, that's something that I have always felt sets Disneyland, Disney parks separate from something like a Universal Studios, because you do have all of this other creativity and different details that go into attractions versus just here is a movie, here is a show, and here's a ride through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Becky. I always have thought that, but then someone pointed out, well, when they first opened the park, everything was not Tomorrowland, but Fantasyland was like all IP. So I think, well, okay, then,
Well, and I mean, there are ones that we do love, like Peter Pan. I mean, there are so many classics. So I guess it does kind of all blend together in a way.
Right.
Well, people forget that in the 1970s, when we got Space Mountain and Big Thunder Mountain and all that, there were the reason why Disney wasn't loading the parks with quote unquote IP from the cinemas was that Disney movies weren't a hit. Mm-hmm. That's why. Yeah. Now, if they had been, then you would have seen that stuff adapted. And so I'm not saying that everything should be IP, but to me, it makes sense if it's not being shoehorned in. I mean, is this going to be a compelling theme park experience? Yeah. Not just well, gee, Avatar's popular, so let's do something with Avatar because Avatar is popular. It's like it has to be a compelling theme park experience, and so it has to be something that even somebody who's never seen the movies can go and enjoy.
100%, yes.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, look at Cars Land. It doesn't matter if you've seen the movies it helps, but, I've heard some people say, well, what happens when, those movies are now 30 years old and no one even knows, cares that much about them? And say it doesn't matter. I mean, look at Mr. Toad. It's a great ride, but, I mean, does anyone really know about the short,
True.
I've never seen the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but I really love Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. And I do, and I loved Twilight Zone. So I'm okay as long as the original is in Florida. I didn't mind them replacing the one in California Adventure with Guardians of the Galaxy, which, like I said, is a very, very fun attraction, even though I've never seen the movies.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we actually had this discussion last show about the IPs in the Fantasyland, like Pinocchio and Mr. Toad's. And what we kind of came up with, and what I was saying is that the reasons why those work there is because of how deep they go and how they tell a deeper story. Like it goes into like the human nature of it all. So I think that's what makes that a little bit different from IPs to IPs is like Disney created those and were an expression of that, and I think that's why they stand true to this day. So that's, I mean, in my mind, that's where I kind of go with, like, I'm hoping that that's what they kind of try to tap back into, because at that point, like, to me, is like this height of imagination, this height of creativity, taking elements and story elements from all over the globe and then making it fit. Yeah, so they're not trying to just shoe in an Avatar line. Like, the Avatar experience, whatever that is it going to feel shoehorned in, or is it going to feel flow and feel like it fits, and it just all kind of feels natural?
Well, speaking of natural, that is a natural segue into thinking about Avatar. I want to talk about this and see what Ken and Lynn had to say about where they think this Avatar land is going to go.
Well, land experience. Well,
it's a land.
I know that's what he said now.
Yeah.
What Iger said now, but I keep on thinking that was a slip of the tongue. Like not like he meant to say. I don't know, but that's just my theory.
What do you guys think?
I don't know. I'm not really a fan of the movies, but I guess it sounds like what they've done at Animal Kingdom sounds like it's amazing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
Are you guys happy with it coming to our resort?
Not really, but no. I mean, it sounds like, I mean, the movies have done great, so I can't see why they wouldn't capitalize on that. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm taking a wait and see attitude.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the movies have been insanely popular at the box office, and I I think that has a lot to do with the settings and and how the characters are designed and things like that. And if you can give people kind of that sense of wonder in a theme park, then great. And what I don't want is a clone of Walt Disney World. I know there's a lot of people who say, well, they need to do that because a lot of people are just not going to be able to visit both coasts.
Right.
Well, I understand that, but there are people who do.
Mm-hmm.
I have less and less reason to go out to Walt Disney World because a lot of my favorite stuff is gone, and B, a lot of the good stuff there is stuff that I could do in my backyard.
Yeah.
So if you make them exactly the same, it's just kind of like, well, okay, now I don't have a reason to go to your other resort.
Yeah.
And if that's what Disney wants, then okay. But in my thinking, you try to get people to go, hey, I really like Disneyland. I should go vacation at Walt Disney World sometime. That's my thinking.
Sure.
But so with Avatar, it's my guess is, okay, a Flight of Passage. I guess you bring that over.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but what else do? You don't, I would like Disneyland to get something that it doesn't have a very similar ride system already.
Yeah.
Right.
If possible. Give people an experience that it's not like I've been there and done that already.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I agree 100%. Yeah. And so if they are going to do an Avatar land or experience, whatever it's going to end up being, it is one of those things is like, it needs to be. It cannot be a carbon copy.
No.
It cannot be a carbon copy. And because, we've talked about it on our show a few times about that, how it fits in Animal Kingdom, and it kind of moves in and is a natural fit there. And over here, yes. I can't think of a place where it just drops in and it's a natural part of what we have already.
Unless they constructed something on either side of Pixar Hotel.
And even then.
Yeah, that's the only way. But we're going to see. I guess we're going to find out where this is going.
Yeah.
They could. One thing they could do is, make it the buffer between Tomorrowland and Fantasyland. They could adapt the submarine voyage.
Mm-hmm.
Adapt some of that area over there to the Avatar experience. There's multiple things they could do. I would kind of be wary if they decided, well, we're going to use it just basically we're going to just turn all of Tomorrowland into Avatar, and that's going to get rid of our issue of having to update Tomorrowland every year.
Yeah.
Why did you
I would be wary of that unless they actually do a futurism thing in a third park,
Man, yeah, now you put a bad thought in my mind.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought of that.
Do not put that out into the universe, King.
Do not manifest that. Oh, man, yeah, because I have heard people talk about that. Like, well, the lagoon and with the last one is, I think it's Way of the Water. I think it was the latest one. Had a lot to do with the ocean. But I don't know. I just have problems with it being there. I just don't think it fits with anything.
I'm not willing to give up any of that. Well,
I'm not, yeah.
It doesn't matter what I think, but I wouldn't want that to be given for Avatar.
No, not at all. And I have a difficult time thinking that Avatar, I know it's done really well in the box office, but that well, where completely takes over, I don't know why. I just have a difficult time signing up for that.
Again, I don't know who's asking for it.
Yeah.
Well, and I've been wondering, is it the same demographic of people who are visiting the parks?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Yeah, who are they going for with that? Because in all reality, when they created Galaxy's Edge, we already know. Star Wars, the IPs and the merchandise and everything, all that comes along with that. It kind of made sense, but I don't know. I don't see a bunch of Avatar IP out there, a bunch of merch, all these kind of things. That's why I kind of sit here and kind of go like, I can't scratch my head over that.
I can't even name one character in Avatar.
All I know is they're the Na'vi. That's all I know.
Okay.
Seriously, that's it.
The Na'vi.
Yeah, that's the race.
Did they have different names? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Jake, and that's the lead guy. That's it.
Oh.
And I've seen both.
Well, there's Cocoam and there's Grandmother Willow. And wait a second, I'm getting it confused with the movie it was based on. Never mind.
Is that Fern Gully?
No, I don't know.
Pocahontas.
Oh,
yeah.
Because the original, people said the original was basically the story of Pocahontas.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, have
Do
you
kids
with the tree? Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yes,
Mark?
I
Okay,
have,
okay.
yeah.
You haven't seen the second one, right, Mark?
The second Avatar?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Has everybody else seen it?
I haven't.
No.
See, exactly my point. There it is. There's 5 people talking right now, and I'm the one who's seen it, and I've seen it one time. And I haven't been in a rush to go watch it again.
No.
Yeah, and
I guess
yeah.
this is on topic, but the only thing I can say is when I did first visit the Pandora Land at Animal Kingdom, I had actually never seen the Avatar movie. I watched it on the flight home, and it still was an immersive experience. It doesn't still make me excited to have it here, but I will say when I did see it from that perspective of not seeing the movie, not really knowing anything about it, I really had no desire to ever see the movie.
Okay.
To be honest, it was an amazing experience.
Yep.
But I feel it fits in that park very well.
Oh, absolutely, it does. It absolutely like blends into that, and which is why I'm having trouble figuring out here. But I guess we shall see how that all works out. And I'm hoping we get some information this summer for when that comes. And I have no idea about timeline. I know the Olympics come to LA in 2028, right?
That's correct.
So we are getting close to if they need to make a decision. That's about enough time to get that thing up and running.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see.
We'll see. And you'd like to think that they'd have that done by then. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, who knows?
Yeah. It's fun to speculate.
Well, so that was some pretty good talk. I gained some insight and some information from the boys from the Sweep Spot. Just wanted to pick their brain about Disneyland Forward and Avatar, and of course Splash Mountain / Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So thank you so much for joining us today, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Now, tell our listeners where they can find out more about you, and also plug your both of your books.
So the podcast, you can find the Sweep Spot. You can find that wherever podcasts are found: Apple, iTunes, Spotify, all those. And you can also go to our website if you want more information, thesweepspot.com. Our books, you can get those on Amazon. We also have audio versions of the books that Ken narrated. You can get those wherever audiobooks are found. I think that's pretty much everything, yeah.
Okay. Do you guys have any signed copies left of your books?
Just the second book. We sold out of the first book. The
Okay.
signed ones, yeah.
Okay.
The signed ones. People can still get it on Amazon. Amazon hasn't been bringing us into their warehouse to autograph it.
If I buy one, send it to you guys, can you guys sign it for me, and I can give one away to one of our listeners?
Sure, yeah.
Cool. And so they are still available on Amazon, both editions,
Yes.
yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any plans for a movie for that?
We're working on it.
You guys have a script?
The thing is, Brad Pitt, we had to wait for his schedule to clear up so he could play me.
So that's what's holding up production. Gotcha.
I get that, man.
Gotcha.
Those actors are finicky, aren't they? Man, those actors.
That is awesome. Cool. So any guests we can look forward to coming up on your show that we can listeners can tune into? Any up and coming guys we can listen to?
Nothing. I mean, we have some more cast members that are going to come on and tell their stories again. We always have that. We're going to continue our discussion we had with Ethan Reed. He's an Imagineer. Really enjoyed that episode, and he's going to come back sometime soon.
Okay.
We don't have episodes like in the can and way in advance. Lynn does a really quick turnaround on them, so. It's not like we have a bunch recorded already that we can say, oh yes, coming up. I mean, he's scheduled some people, but we don't, it hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
But we've got such an extensive library of ones that we've already done, and people can search that and see if their favorite names are there.
Okay. Excellent. Good to know. And so LTP listeners, please check out the Sweep Spot They've got some really good stuff, and they've been doing it for a long, long time.
Yep.
And so guys, keep up the great work. But you don't need me to tell you that. You guys do that anyway. So.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, guys. We do greatly appreciate it.
Yep.
Anytime. Appreciate it.
Okay. Okay, well, that was a really good interview from the guys from the Sweep Spot. I'm glad we got a chance to connect with them.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure talking to those guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to talk to other like fans of the show, especially podcasters who get it, and so it's really good. And I would like to do more of that. I would like to connect with other content creators if we can. And
yep.
There's no reason why we can't.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be great. And I love their ideas, for sure. But I'm glad I got Ken to speak up a little bit about Splash Mountain, because I knew that's like a raw nerve with him.
Yeah. No, but he's very very balanced with the response.
Yes.
I want to say
diplomatic.
Diplomatic. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, he was. Go ahead, Becky. What?
I just was gonna say, yeah, he was.
Yeah, sure. I was trying to get him off of that just a little bit. So that's where the real, I think, conversations start, because you're not, I hate that thing. Or whatever, but no, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good though.
Yeah,
it's good.
For sure.
Always good.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, that's going to wrap up episode number 193. I want to thank everyone out there for listening to the show and supporting the show. And again, as we mentioned, you can go to leavingtodaypodcast.com, click on the Patreon logo. We make it super simple if you want to join the LTP family. And also follow us on Instagram at Leaving Today Podcast. We have a link tree there with our T-shirts are on there, and Patreon and all that good stuff. So that is how you can find out more about us. Yeah. Okay, Udi, where can people find out more about you?
They can find me on my socials, which are Twixter and Instagram, which are both the same handle, HAXGOALIE, Haxgoalie, and you can reach out there. I answer all my DMs.
Ooh.
Yep.
So you can slide into Udi's DM if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. If you so desire. Becky, how about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Becky, BECKY_Weimer, WEIM as in Mary, ER.
Okay. Good. And so you follow her on Instagram and reach out to her, I guess, if she wants that sort of thing.
Yeah, go for it. I love talking Disney or anything. If anybody wants to talk to me about life, feel free.
What about if they want to talk about football with you?
I won't talk about football, but we could talk about Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Yeah, any T Swift direct towards her, please.
Okay, gotcha.
Don't bring it my way.
That'll be a different podcast, I assume. All right. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us. It means a great deal to me and to the LTP family that you are here with us. So, until next time, we love you. We'll see you in the parks.
See ya.
Bye.
No bed sheets.
It's like a breath of fresh air.
I like it.